Hello YouTube viewers, welcome to my show Camera Tuesday. In today's episode we're going to discuss a very interesting camera known as Zcam E2. So let's dive right into it. Now first you have to understand what the heck it is. Basically it's around $2,000 and it is quote unquote alternative to Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K, not 6K one, 4K one. So okay, what do you get for your money? Well, they are going with a red approach. Basically they are selling you just like body, quote unquote brain. Basically it does not have a monitor, it does not have a battery, it does not have a hand grip, nothing. It's just a sensor and the needed electronics, that's it. Now the sensor size is micro four third. Now again, if you may be like, hey, that's not big enough or I will not get shallow depth of field enough, you may be able to bypass that issue by using speed boosters, because it does use the common micro four third system, nothing fancy. You can easily get speed boosters for it. Now another aspect they learned from Blackmagic is basically battery is very important for a video camera, so they are going with Sony NPF batteries. Basically they are very cheap and they come in different power settings, and people are reporting around 4 to 8 hours of continuous recording with 4K and all that. So it's quite a good camera. Then first you have to understand what the heck it can do. Well, it's a proper video camera. What does that translate to? Because $2,000 is a very interesting price range, specifically after the advent of basically Sony A7 Mark III. Now again, I'm hoping for Mark IV to come down someday in the future, hopefully. Is that in $2,000 you can buy that camera, and it is like on paper it will sound much better than this one. However, it's not a video camera, so side effect of that, first, Sony is limited to 8-bit. That directly translates to you not having enough color gradation that you can if you want to push the colors, so to say, like you want to color it like how Matrix colored their movie into green, or Star Wars have a little bit of yellow tint to it, you want to do that, like it will not look good on an 8-bit. It does not mean you cannot do it, it's just that it will be very difficult. A proper cinema camera generally is above 10-bit, 10, 12, 14 and 16, something like that. Now again, there is a point of diminishing return, so 8 to 10 is a very big jump, 10 to 12 not so much, but again Blackmagic does go to 12-bit, so that is a very interesting thing. If you are solely concerned about color accuracy and getting the quote unquote feel of the movie, you can utilize that Blackmagic. For that reason you may be like, hey, flat out, I need 12-bit or I'm not touching this, don't touch this. So for most people, the fact that it is better than 8-bit is more than good enough, so 10-bit is more than good enough. Now another aspect of that, it has a lot of video formats. Now format is not an issue for somebody just taking out making 1 or 2 videos to upload on Facebook or YouTube, but how people who are doing it as a living, like I'm doing it, or somebody whose job is making videos for, be it corporate, be it advertisements or things of that nature, the ability to change format is very, very crucial. Because if somebody says, hey, I can I need you to record something like this, and it has been going on for, let's say you are doing some sort of Mythbuster, you may have like freaking days of recording to get something out. You may want to record in a format that is much more space efficient, so you want to go H.2.6. This has that H2 to H.2.6 recording, it has that, so you will get much more space. But somebody says like, hey, I need this video pronto edited and all that, you can do ProRes. Now ProRes is very important because ProRes requires you to get license from Apple. These companies have figured it out, so awesome. So you can understand that that's not a big deal for 1 or 2 time video maker, but who is doing regularly, the ability to change format is priceless. On top of that, you also have a lot of frame per second options. So you may be doing familiar with the fact that a lot of music videos are shot in higher frame rates, and of course they have slowdowns, motions and all that. So in those sort of scenario, having a high FPS is awesome. Okay, useful tool. So generally most camera will go from 24 to 30. Full frame cameras rarely do higher than that. You have to buy Panasonic H1S to get higher than that, but that's the whole point. This puppy can go up to, in terms of full sensor readout, it can go upwards of 120 frames per second at 4K. That is quite amazing. To give you a context of that, flat out, there are very few cameras that can do that in 4K. It does not matter the sensor size. Very few cameras that can do true 4K 120 frames per second, and it does it unlimitedly. Basically, either you run out of battery or you run out of memory to record. So you can understand, it can support that, sustain that speed. So it's quite amazing for that. Now is that necessary for you? For some scenarios it's absolutely necessary. For other scenarios, yeah, it does not matter that much. So it's up to you. Again, it has that option. Now in terms of formats, all other options, not only that, it also has the ability to control your camera in multiple ways. You can just connect it with Ethernet and forget about it. There are versions of this exact camera, Zcam, which you can power via what we call PoE, power over Ethernet. Benefit of that, let's say for some reason you have multicam setup for, let's say, school broadcasting or things of that nature, that would be amazing. It can do that. Like, again, not this exact model, but you can go to Zcam website and find a model that supports that. So you can understand, like, a lot of options. This also has like direct Wi-Fi broadcasting, direct Ethernet broadcasting. So if you want something stable or directly want to send data to optical lines, so you can have like true live broadcasting, this can handle that. This also has the ability to have multiple camera connected as a chain, so you can have one master. So you only have to start recording on one, it will start recording on all others. You can say those little things that are common for video camera, not present in quote unquote hybrid cameras. So that is why it's quite important. Like, it is a proper dedicated video camera, and it's a cine line. So basically the fact that it has 10-bit, that means if color grading is done well enough, if the lenses were good enough, and if the exposure was good enough, you can project it into a large cinema screen. Now, of course, you can't compare it to Avengers Endgame, but you get the point. So question becomes, for whom it is, like who is going to be satisfied with this? Basically, it's a very great low budget cinema camera. Basically, if you want to start and you are doing a lot of, let's say, commercial shoots where you are like getting paid to make interviews, make documentaries, make advertisements, in those sort of scenarios, this is going to shine like a bright light for. And if you want to make short movies for movie festivals and all that, awesome. For that, it's awesome. Now you can rig it up. Now this is very interesting part. The camera from day one built as a cinema camera, so it has a lot of rigging option, and you don't even have to buy a cage, quote unquote. If you just want to have one monitor, one grip, this grip is very interesting, available for this camera. Again, this grip is modular, so you can connect it to whatever you want. You can directly plug SSD inside it and connect the USB-C from this to your camera, and this will you won't have one SSD dangling around. So it's quite neat solution. You can do that. You can rig a giant microphone. It has a headphone output also. You can rig with proper touch screen. I'm talking about touch screen, like a video monitor and all that, and all can be powered with one battery, because it's designed in such a way that it can do these sort of video centric options. It is very useful for who has okay, video is my go to living scenario, and I'm gonna make money out of it. It's a very useful tool. Like, of course you have to rig it up. That is one of the iffy situation. So that was the main drawback of this. If you are comparing this versus let's say Blackmagic, and you are like, okay, should I choose Blackmagic versus this? Blackmagic have two main advantages. Advantage number one, it's far more complete. Basically, if you get the Blackmagic, all you have to do is buy a lens. You're done. Like, you can start recording. Now in this, you have to buy another display. Now you can bypass that need because it does have Wi-Fi, and you have to connect antenna. Like, try to connect a proper antenna with this, or you can utilize a USB-C or the Ethernet to USB-C. In that way, you can directly use your mobile phone as a display. You can do that with a tablet or something like that. So that way you can bypass this, but you have to understand this is not ready to go. Like, this is not something you pull out of a bag and like ready to go. This is a very important thing, and for many people, the fact that it does not do 12-bit is like, yeah, I'm not touching this. Now, is 10-bit enough? For more than enough. 10-bit is like more than enough for most scenarios, and specifically if you are in a scenario where you gonna upload it in Facebook or Instagram or things of that nature, more than good enough. Because after that many compressors, only even 8-bit will start to look okay. But again, 8-bit does not give you breathing room. Like, if your exposure is right, awesome. If you are slipping even a little bit, 8-bit is like, no, get your exposure perfect. Here you have more latitude. So in those sort of scenario, you may be like, hey, 10-bit is more than good enough. And you also have to understand, higher the bit rate, higher the file sizes. So you have to have a scenario where it's like, yeah, I want 12-bit, but then you have to realize, like, do you have hard drive, whole network attached storage that you're gonna need? So those are the things that you have to consider. So it does require a rig. Like, you have to have a mobile holder or a full touchscreen. This is a very interesting one from Portkey, because it does have touchscreen and it will control the camera. So you don't have to touch the camera. If you have it somewhere, again, connected via HDMI, you can just connect everything, control every function from this. So that is quite amazing. But again, you have to buy this. This is expensive. And one thing that bugged me was that it has single media recording option. So basically, you have to use CFast. Again, why everybody is using this dying format? It's like Compact Flash Association themselves moved from this. It's like, yeah, this is dying. Let's go to Compact Express, which is like basically XQD 2.0. So rather than that, this has this. Now again, Canon also uses it, but Canon has the ability, like especially in the C400 and C600, is that you can have dual recording. Basically, even with Sony FS series, you can record on both of them. Now that is very important for news gathering or things of nature where you cannot be like, if it's an action scene or something is happening, you cannot do like, retake because I lost my card. In those sort of scenarios, that's very frustrating. And the fact, like, even if it did not do dual recording, I wished as a video camera it should have the ability of proxy recording, which even low-end Sony A6400 has that. So you can use basically USB-C to do proper recording on a Samsung SSD. Everybody is doing that. It's awesome. Or SanDisk SSD, awesome. But problem is that this internal slot is problematic. Like, basically it cannot do proxy, and if you want to record on both of them, it will not allow you to. You can only record on one. Now hopefully they may fix this in firmware updates, but I have provided the whole manual down below, so please read it thoroughly. As of now, all the video reviewers who did it is basically either can record internally or externally. You can't record on both, and even if that option was not available, at least they should have done basically proxy recording, which is very awesome. So that is a very critical thing. So for news organization, the moment you show them, like, even if you made a rig that is like, capable of recording 8 to 9 hours continuously, they'll be like, yeah, no, not touching this. Now the fact it does not have IBIS and autofocus, that's the same issue with Blackmagic. But again, Blackmagic is a bit more complete. And if you are thinking of using this as a one-man army, the fact that it does not have IBIS, the fact that means you have to have a gimbal. Again, extra money you have to pour into it. It does not have autofocus, so you have to have focus puller. Again, if you are using a gimbal, so you need a wireless focus puller that again adds up the cost. So you can understand it. Like, you may think, oh, it's a $2,000 camera, but by the time it's kitted out, it will cost more or less than same as like FS5. So in those scenarios, like, shouldn't I just buy FS5? So please be mindful of that. Choose the lens first, be mindful of your needs and all that, and please add the price of everything that you're gonna need with it. Then you can make your decision. And the fact that you also have to consider is that Blackmagic gives you a full software. Basically it gives you DaVinci Resolve, which is an expensive software. And the fact that if you are running a, let's say, production studio, it's unwise to use piracy in those scenarios, because generally companies like Adobe and all that, they do go after they will not come after me or something, a single user, but they will come after, like, if you have a like studio running and all that. So in those sort of scenarios, Blackmagic may be more suited for you. But again, if you need high frame per second, this is the only option you have. So this was my presentation about Zcam E2. I hope you liked it, learned from it. In that case, please click the like button. If you didn't like it, didn't enjoy it, I would urge you to press dislike, press it twice to show me your extra disappointment, and please leave a comment because I reply to all of them. Subscribe, press the bell icon if you're free, and as always, thanks for watching.